Hello and welcome to Dream Team Coach TV, brought to you by Betway. I'm Sean Burke. Joining me is Andy Taylor, Graham Marshall, and Nick Elliott. Coming up on this week's show.
Oh no!
Don't look.
What have you done?
Nothing.
I'm sorry that you got upset.
Yeah, exactly. Even your opinion, who I do value your opinion quite a lot on football.
Oh, I don't know if he does.
Even no, I don't.
Yeah. Don't just say it for the show.
This whole situation could have been solved with a simple Twitter poll. This week, absolutely nothing happened. So thanks very much for joining us on another episode of Dream Team Coach TV, brought to you by Betway, and we will see you again next time. Not quite. Not only did a lot happen, Jose Mourinho being sacked is not even like the third biggest story. That's right, the European Super League was announced this week and also folded this week. Ed Woodward resigned, Perez whined, and a partridge in a pear tree. But guys, they just wanted to save football. Why was it such a bad thing?
I mean, where do we start? Who was the first crack at that?
I think the main thing to remember is that it's not going ahead, which is what the football fans wanted, and the owners, the clubs, failed to see.
As of the time of recording, John Henry's the only sort of owner to come out and post a video with a apology kind of thing. And he, in his message, he said, "Oh well, this was never going to go ahead without the, blessing of the fans." Why didn't you ask them then? What you just assumed before you did it?
It's funny though, isn't it? You get all these rich people that have no relatability to working class people.
Okay.
It's almost as if they don't understand what it's like just to be an average person.
This whole situation could have been solved with a simple Twitter poll.
Well, you got Florentino Perez coming out saying that 16 to 24-year-olds think games are too long. They can't sit through 90 minutes of something. I don't know if he's seen any films recently that have made like $1 billion in the box office, like all the superhero and all that kind of stuff. They're like, one of them was like, wasn't it like recent one, like 4
Endgame was
hours
over 3
long.
hours, and the Zack Snyder Batman-y Justice League thing, 4 hours.
Exactly. So all of these films marketed at the exact same target audience that are twice as long as a football game.
Aren't you boys county cricket fans as well? I mean,
Exactly.
I'm happy to watch a game go 5 days and end in a draw. It's fine.
Gary Neville's covered off the kind of animosity punditry angle, hasn't he? Let's be honest, he's done that very well. Twitter has just got us covered on just a lot of fronts, really. Yeah. I don't think one thing that hasn't been done is ranking who has pulled out the best from the Super.
What are the parameters here, Andy?
Firstly, in terms of how many words they've used. Now, a lot of people have just put club statement. So straight away, that suggests we really don't want to relate to the fans here. We just want to just get the message out there. Don't judge us. Just read it and get on with your lives. Whereas you've got the Arsenal who've gone the complete opposite way, and they've actually said we've made a mistake and we apologise for it. Mm-hmm. But I can guarantee you the other 5 clubs will be going, Arsenal, you shouldn't be saying that, boys, because we're going to pitch this idea again in 6 months. So that's why everyone else is going, look, I mean, well, pretty much Daniel Levy in particular, they've just said...
They use the word regret, but...
Yeah, his version was basically like a comedian saying, I'm sorry you were offended.
Yeah.
By the proposed Super League.
I regret the anxiety and the reaction that it caused, but I still think I'm right. So
that is how every argument with my girlfriend ends. Me going, look, let's just call it a quits.
I'm sorry that you got upset.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Henry's got a good point about United. In that, I would say that they had one of the worst, right? Because they didn't announce they were going in, but they did an announcement to say they were coming out, and it was a really rubbish one. But the whole thing has ended with Ed Woodward leaving, which means that Man United fans are happier than ever.
Do you not think that's the funniest part of everything? They said that he was leaving anyway. It's nothing to do with what's going on.
Come on. It's the same thing with the Jose Mourinho one. Like, oh, no, it was results on the pitch. And it's like, but you wanted that Super League bonus to pay him off, and now you don't have it.
Okay, hold fire on the chat for a few minutes as it's time for the 4 to Score challenge. This week, our sponsor Betway has set us a challenge in honour of the League Cup as we look back at some classic cup finals with the help of a few photos. Now, what I want you guys to tell me is A, what year are they from for 1 point, and B, to name one goal scorer from that day for another point. Okay?
Well, it's Arsenal and City. I don't get points for that, do I? My instinct tells me you wouldn't have put one of the scorers in the photo, but I could be way off.
Could be reverse psychology.
Oh, could it now?
Well, the answer was 2018, which I believe you all got. And the scores that day, it was 3-0 to Man City. Scores were Aguero, Company, and Silva.
I just went safe with Aguero.
Yeah, Nick got 2, Andy got 1. Okay, next photo coming up.
Oh, what year was this?
No look.
Surely you remember getting to a final.
Right, I've got Nick's answer now.
Well, no. Don't look.
Oh, you're joking. Oh, no.
Don't look.
What have you done?
Nothing.
Did you send
nothing?
To the wrong?
I didn't do anything. It's not there. I can't believe I did that.
Right. Well, it would appear that Andy didn't look, or he did, and he just didn't pay any attention, pay any heed. Because the answer is 2015, and it was 2-0 to Chelsea, and the scores were Diego Costa and John Terry.
Oh, yes.
So good going, Nick and Graz. 2 again. Photo 3.
Who have we got here? Oh, this is taking us back.
This feels weird seeing Dave Beckham play in English football. Seems like such a long time ago.
Right now, I need to not be in that chat.
Okay, well, the answer is 2003. Liverpool won it that year, and the scores were Steven Gerrard and Michael Owen. So
I was going to go for Owen as well. I got the year wrong, but
got the year wrong.
Hard luck, Nick. But Graz and Andy got 1 each. Nick is on 4. Graz, you're on 5, and Andy's on 2. But it still could all change in this one round. I like this one. It looks like a Renaissance painting almost.
Does this mean we're going even further back?
No, actually, we've gone a bit forward again.
You shouldn't have said it was forward, because I would have put it like almost the same time as that other one.
Really?
Yeah.
The answer was 2007, the year, and you all said Drogba. So just a pretty safe bet in these seagulls of final. So Nick, you got 1, leaving you on 5. Graz, you got another 2. Leaving you on 7, a whopping 7 points.
Who scored in a final featuring Chelsea and Arsenal? Must be the easiest quiz question you've ever had.
All went Drogba.
Yeah. Well, you only got 1.
Congratulations to Graz. It was a photo finish. Huh? See what I did there?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make
photos.
sense,
yeah.
You only think Spurs are winning this week?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in terms of the European Super League as well, we were talking about this yesterday. We could probably do with making a hypocrisy league table too. In terms of like, of course, UEFA being like, that's out of line. What? And now at the same time, we're like, right, but how do we get more money out of these fans and add more games?
Yeah, well, that's the, while this has all been going on, the Champions League reform has been snuck through, which is an absolute joke as well. It takes a lot of the same kind of principles that, once this new thing comes in, people will be able to qualify for the Champions League based on their coefficient only. The whole one of the reasons people are kicking off about the Super League is because, like, well, it's it's against the integrity of sport. It's not, it doesn't reward actual results and merit on the pitch and stuff. That's what the Champions League is going to be like, to a slightly lesser degree, but that's what's coming in 2024 or whatever. That's that. Sky Sports and BT have dedicated 2 days of coverage to kind of, isn't greed and killing football and fans are what's really important. Well, they were trying to charge me £15 to watch West Brom v Burnley about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. It's £100 for the all-in Sky package.
Yeah.
Where is the average working class fan getting that cash from?
So that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, well, are the broadcasters going to lower their, are they going to stick by their words, and lower their fees to make football more accessible, which they've been, it's what Gary Neville's been hasn't gone to sleep for about 48 hours. He's just been on Sky constantly. He's been he's been captured.
Is it almost just like a matter of where do you draw the line, right?
Like,
so
if Salford were offered a place in there, we wouldn't be here to peep at them. That's just how it is.
Like, we've accepted a certain level of corruption and broken ethics into our football, but this felt like a step too far. Is that why there was such a reaction?
Yeah,
but people try and say, they use whataboutery to kind of excuse stuff like, what about UEFA and all, which we should be saying, but like, what we shouldn't do is say, oh, actually, yeah, you're right. It's broken. We might as well just accept the Super League. Do you know what I mean? Two wrongs don't make a right. It's like, no, that's not right. And also, now that you mention it, that isn't right. And actually, the one positive thing, I suppose, is that, because I was really pessimistic, to be honest. I thought these owners won't care how many protests there are. They're just going to do it, and there'll be a huge market for it eventually. All of us four sitting here will probably end up watching it all, talking about how good the games are.
Speak for yourself.
In however many years time it is. But actually, the one positive is actually, wow, enough backlash actually can force through stuff. So and like Bamford said on Monday night, why isn't there the same kind of reaction to racism in the game? The UEFA president, all that kind of stuff. Never seen him so angry, talking about the snakes around him and stuff. Because he thinks Champions League's going to get worse compared to some of the bans that UEFA give out to racism and pitiful fines.
It's funny what happens when your pocket's going to get hit, isn't it? It's funny how that triggers people.
It's been such a bombardment of Super League stupidity this week that I almost forgot Jose Mourinho got sacked on Monday. But not much of a payday as well, by the sounds of it, or they're going to have to find the money from somewhere else, Mr. Levy. But I wonder, is this the last we'll see of Jose in the Premier League?
I'd say in the Premier League, yeah. I reckon someone else will give him a go. In terms of success, I think he'd be a really good international manager. Portugal don't need him now because they're actually in really good shape internationally, but maybe after, so he might need another job and then go Portugal. But I just think that would suit him a bit better. Like, they haven't got the time an international manager. Too much exposure to Jose. Kind of, we were talking about the 3-season syndrome. Seems to be quite negative, but in international, you only have that kind of month or whatever, especially over the space of a tournament. If you get really fired up under Jose, you go, right, we just need to play well for a month. And, like Spurs are doing at the beginning of the season, right? If you did that over the course of a tournament, you could win it. You could actually win the tournament because you have to play like that for a month, like Spurs did. But over the course of the season, it's just kind of grinds away on people's happiness a bit too much.
Braz, how are you feeling, mate? Because it has been a roller coaster of a week for you.
Yeah. So I was, progressively more and more Jose out, but I did not expect it to come in this week, to come even this season. I still thought, because of how hard Levy had fought to get into the club, it had been like a manager who he'd wanted, like coveted for years.
And the same week he got bantered off Twitter by
Dulux. Yeah. Sorry, we're allowed to mention. We're allowed to mention the paint brand. Yeah.
That's what I thought this whole week's episode would be about when it happened.
When we were back in the studio, Graz, I was almost trying to get a rise out of you about, like, can you say that you're going to win the league, please? And
I wouldn't say
it. But what you were very confident about is that Jose was actually doing well and it was a good appointment for you. Do you think it's mad how generally football, even your opinion, who I do value your opinion quite a lot on football.
Oh, I don't know if he does.
Even no, I don't.
Don't just say it for the show. Don't just say it for the show.
No, I do value it. I value it like a Freddo.
Rising then, yeah,
rising. No, I just think it's mad that, say, someone like you has gone from thinking that Jose is a really good fit for you, and actually you weren't even regretting the loss of Poch, to now you were going, I was definitely going, well, no, you were like, look, it's clearly a good decision.
And this is why, if he had have finished the season and had carried on, I wouldn't have questioned it. I wouldn't have been sort of, I can't possibly watch Spurs again because that guy's still our manager. It would have been like, okay, fine, let's see how it goes. We still had a League Cup final to play. We still had games to play. Football, as we've seen this week, literally anything can happen.
I think, was it 2 weeks ago, we were saying, is this the lowest point for Spurs in terms of Kane coming out and going, well, he hasn't come out officially, but, big rumours that he wants to leave. Is this even lower now?
Well, still lower, but again,
lower than a snake's belly right now.
Again, it is lower, but as I think, I wasn't on that show that week, but you were still sort of talked down. It's still not the lowest point in Spurs' history. Not even in my lifetime is it the lowest point.
Really? Yeah. You're owned by an absolute, pretty much. and you're going to lose your best player.
Yeah, potentially. And when's that ever happened before?
And you're going to struggle to get top 10.
Again, when's that ever happened before? Oh yeah, only most seasons in my entire
No, I know, but
lifetime.
you've had the taste of it though. You've had that final of the Champions League.
It was delicious. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I had a great time. But I'd still got to eat. What's the?
So it's not okay. Fair enough then. All right.
Obviously, I'd like my club to be successful. I'd love my club to be successful. But when it doesn't happen, it doesn't stop them being your club, because otherwise, that's a different kind of supporting mentality.
Just so I'm clear, if you start next season with Ryan Mason permanent manager and no Harry Kane, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling our chances aren't as good as this season, but I'm not necessarily feeling like, I'm not going to watch any of the games. Okay. I mean, it's the same for you, Andy. You come on this show nearly every week and sort of say you're not worried about the success of Wolves. Like, you've really, you would watch them in any league. And it's the same thing for me. I had to, over this week, I had to really examine what I felt about Spurs because of the Super League. If Spurs were relegated to League Two, even National League, even out of the pyramid entirely, I'd probably still go watch them. I mean, it'd be a weird one to have a 60,000 seater stadium in the sort of Evo Stick Premier or whatever, but
Billericay Derby.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be quite a strange game. But I wouldn't stop me supporting them. But
to be honest, that would be probably that would be your best years of your footballing life. Genuinely.
It would be amazing, and it would be, and it would be fun, and it would still be fun, and it would still be football.
It's a baptism of fire for interim manager Ryan Mason at Spurs as they take on Man City in the EFL Cup final. The least important of the domestic cups. The question is, what are you guys going to do instead on Sunday?
Not to go down the generic who cares about these cup finals anymore route, which I think we always do, and that's particularly how I do because I just don't have any interest. I suppose the only people that are really interested, I don't think City fans really care that much. It'll be Spurs fans.
Yeah.
Because this will be a chance of silverware. I think this is the day of the Tottenham fan for me.
4 out of the last 5 have been won by City, haven't they?
Yeah, it's not called the Man City Cup for no reason.
Do you not think that's really, as a Man City fan, you just get numb to winning that trophy? Like, if I was a Wolves fan and I got to that final, oh my God, I'd be like counting the days down. Honestly, I'd be like a kid at Christmas on Saturday. Genuinely, I would be. And do you not think it's just a shame that City fans just don't ever have that anymore?
Last year, during the celebrations, there was quite a noticeable, Guardiola just looked really kind of nonplussed about it.
Yeah, just three on the trot or something.
I understand.
He was happy, but and all that, but he just looked really kind of like onto the next one.
Yeah, exactly. I think the winners should be knocked out of the following year's tournament.
Sean Burke and his reforms to the game. I think we need to get you into.
So what is? I mean, just if you had to guess, Graz, what is Ryan Mason going to bring to the table? Is he going to get the ball down? What do we even know what he does tactically?
Absolutely not. He's been coaching some of the under-23s and the youth setup for a while, but I've got no idea what his sort of thing is going to be. The only thing that I can base this on is one interview answer that I saw from him where he's had a text from Poch. That's the only thing I can base his tactics on.
There's the sell of the show, boys. Graz predicts that he's going to be the next Poch.
I don't know if that's exactly what I said.
Hey, that's how it works, no? That's how journalism works.
For pure comedy value, it would have been hilarious if no one had checked in with Mason, with what he thought. Yeah. And then, in his first press conference, he's like, "I'm an absolute disciple of Mourinho. I just love what he's about. I'm going to implement the exact same tactics." I think he had it dead on.
Sorry, just on the Mourinho front as well, by the way. I think a general conception of him is that he leaves clubs in an absolute disarray and that he alienates players and they all hate him. I feel like Spurs players didn't mind him.
There was definitely a section of Spurs players who, I mean, you can argue that Harry Kane's maybe played his best all-round football this season.
Well, Kane, but apparently, I mean, according to the journalists who actually know about it, Kane really, not loved him, but got on really well with him right to the end. And like you say, Graz, Kane has sort of gone to, the whole kind of assist creative playmaking stuff has come under Mourinho while still scoring loads of goals. I think Lucas Moura got on, and
obviously Højbjerg was a real third in the wall Mourinho type.
Yeah, so for every Kane and Højbjerg, there's Dele Alli and Harry Winks. Kane was good before, and he's found another element to his game. He's still good. Whereas Winks and Dele were key members of the squad to be completely frozen out. So it's kind of.
Well, I think you asked about what Ryan Mason might bring to the team. I think some of the exiles could potentially get back into the squad at least, if not playing. I mean, Ryan Mason Ryan Mason literally played with some of the players in the squad. I wouldn't be surprised to see some of them back in.
But I just think even that's not fair, because he has exiled people in the past, and probably it's not been because of their performances on the pitch. Whereas I think we can all accept Dele Alli's been absolutely bang average.
I think as well, you can point to examples of him exiling players wrongfully. Luke Shaw's had his best season this season and was completely frozen out of that Man United side.
Well, that's the thing. And
for what reason?
And at the time, there was some, people backing Mourinho saying, well, yeah, rightfully so, Luke Shaw not playing well. He does deserve to be frozen out.
Yeah, but I'm saying, can't he make a mistake, though? I just don't think he should be tarred with that brush now. I don't think he should be tarred with that brush now, I don't think.
Part of coaching is he's improving players or turning players' forms around and getting the best out of them. So if you have a player like Dele Alli with undeniable natural talent, and don't get me wrong, Dele was sort of falling off by the end of the Poch era as well. So it's not purely on Mourinho. Mm-hmm. But it's part of your job to.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And to not just disregard them and say, actually, you're not good enough.
Just finally, how are you feeling, Graz, then? You must be buzzing for it, no? I mean, this is a chance for silverware.
I'm not buzzing for it in terms of I think we're going to win, because Man City seem like an unstoppable juggernaut and Harry Kane might be injured.
So it's the opposition that probably dumbs it down a bit. If you were playing Brentford, you'd be well up for it.
Yeah, the opposition does dull my enthusiasm down a little bit, but I went in the space of about 3 days from going, I'm not going to watch it, sod this, hate everything, hate football, to it'd be a nice day. Yeah, it'd be good to watch a cup final.
Yeah.
Did you know? I think football has been the actual football has been really flat during this. Like, I wasn't enjoying Leeds v Liverpool on Monday night. Like, that's probably the most disinterested I've been watching a Leeds game in years. Yeah. And didn't even bother watching Chelsea.
Well, Tuchel came out and said that they were mentally tired from everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
Whereas, now, even though, like you say, Andy, like we'll probably be having this conversation again in 6 months to a year's time or whatever, I think it's right to have a minor celebration and think, we sort of briefly saved football for a bit. We've got Spurs Southampton on tonight as we record. We film on a Wednesday. I'm going to enjoy that a lot more than I would have done if it had just been a sort of, we're probably not qualifying for nothing fixture in the tail end of the season.
This is where you're going to have to put up in the edit a little thing, Southampton for Spurs.
I'm going to enjoy that. Well, that's all from us, folks. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Dream Team Coach TV, brought to you by Betway. Good luck with your dream teams, and we will talk to you again next week.